Good morning and welcome to a Saturday in our life. This morning the plan is to make bagels. I prepped them yesterday, and while I was doing it I was like, this dough does not seem right. It was very wet, and I kept adding more flour even though I'd already added all the flour that the recipe said. Like, what is going on here? This is not the right consistency. So I looked back at the recipe this morning, and somehow I managed to double the water. On the recipe it had the measurements in grams, and it was 255 grams of water and then 455 grams of flour. And somehow when I was looking back and forth between what I was doing and the recipe, when I was measuring the water, I looked at the 455 grams of water. So I essentially doubled the amount of water, which explains why they're very soupy and wet. So we're gonna try and make them anyways and just see what happens, because I already did the prep work for them. And if they don't turn out, that's fine, I'll just try again. But yeah, kind of bummed that I did that, because I was really looking forward to having some fresh bagels today. And then yeah, the plan for the rest of the day is we need to rearrange our office room. When we first moved to this apartment, we weren't expecting Daniel to be working from home. So now that he is, we need to make that space more functional for him. And we are also planning on going to South Africa for Christmas this year, because that's where I am originally from. But our flights have been canceled, things have been moved around, and we're still waiting on Phoebe's birth certificate before we can get her passport. So we just need to sit down and look at all of that and make sure it's something we can really do. And yeah, other than that, we'll see where the day takes us. This one's just having breakfast and has now stopped to look at me because I'm talking. Hi. Hi. Good morning. Alright, so this is what we are dealing with in the bagel department. They do not look very bagely. They look very fat. But I'm just gonna keep going because I'm kind of treating this as an experiment to see what happens. And if they're not edible, we'll throw them out, I guess, which is what I'd have to do now anyway if I decided not to keep going. So next step is I need to put the oven on, and then I need to boil them in water, just a minute each side, and then bake them. So that's what I'm gonna start doing. They look terrible and they're so soupy, but I'm just gonna keep going and treat this as an experiment and kind of just see what happens. I'm gonna try to recycle the other bagels that I didn't even attempt because they're just so wet. I'm gonna try to recycle them, add some more flour, maybe make like a loaf of some sort, and just see if I can use the dough and not waste it. But the next step is to brush these with egg. which I'm trying to decide if I want to waste an egg or not by brushing them, and then to bake them in the oven for 15 to 20 minutes. I figure why not? We've got a lot of eggs. I'm just gonna keep going, see what happens. But feeling pretty bummed because I was really looking forward to some homemade bagels this morning, but you know, sometimes life just doesn't go the way you think it will.
Plot twist. The bagels aren't terrible. They're actually pretty good. I think when you boil them, it really gives that nice, what do you say, chewy, crusty outside that bagels have. So they look really bad. They look, I don't know, they look a mess. But they actually taste pretty good. And Daniel put them in the toaster, put some butter and honey on them, and it tastes like a bagel. It doesn't really look like a bagel, but it tastes like a bagel. What do you think?
Less about presentation, more about quality. They're good. They're a little doughy, a little on the chewy side, but for a homemade bagel, I think you crushed it.
For a homemade bagel that I'm completely messed up the ratio of water to flour, they're not bad.
They're really not bad.
I haven't baked the other little loaf thingy that I'm making out of the extra flour. I mean, the extra dough that I added more flour to. So we'll see how that turns out. Maybe it'll be amazing. And I will have developed the secret to making a good cinnamon raisin loaf is messing up bagels and then making a loaf. So yeah, verdict, not bad.
8 out of 10.
It is much later in the day now. Daniel and I were able to call the airline and get our tickets sorted for our trip in December. And everything's great, everything's fixed. We've added Phoebe into the tickets because she wasn't originally a part of it because she wasn't born yet. So we've done everything, and yeah, really excited, really relieved that that's all figured out. And now it is time to tackle the office. So I'm just gonna show you what we're working with here. There's a Daniel and a Phoebe. But we also have a spare bed in here, which we don't really use very frequently, so we need to figure out a spot for it where it can be, but it doesn't take up all of the space. And then on this side of the room is kind of Daniel's office setup. But since he's in here all day, every day, he really wants to have the desk in front of the window. So we're gonna figure out if we can arrange it in such a way that he can look out the window while he's working, and we can have our spare bed somewhere and, you know, just get everything in a good spot. And you can clearly tell that I have not cleaned up for this, so we're just gonna jump right in. Phoebe and I are being a really big help, cheering Daddy on in the corner. Yeah. Good yawn, bub. Hard at work over here. Yeah, step 1 complete, move desk. So far we're doing all right. Full disclosure, it's been about a week or so since I filmed the video that you just watched, but when I went to edit it, this last clip of me showing the room got messed up with the audio and the video, so I thought I'd just show you again. We moved Daniel's desk under the window, and he's been really enjoying working there and being able to look out and getting that sunlight while he works. And then over here, we added in another desk that we had and put my sewing machine on top of it. So if I want to work on sewing projects on the weekend, I can. And then tucked away in this corner is the spare bed. On top of it is lots of linen that I need to organize and other stuff in this room that I need to organize. But I just have not had a chance yet. So hopefully I will be able to get that soon. But yeah, that's our room. Thanks for watching.